Hello and welcome to Manifesting a New Life TV show. My name is Patricia LeBlanc and I'm your host. I'm really excited because this week I have another amazing guest expert on the show. And I can't wait to introduce you to her because it's going to be quite an impact show. So it's going to be very inspiring and transformational. So my this week's guest is Marcia Merrill. She is an international best-selling co-author of the book Manifesting a New Life, Your Magical Guide to Attracting the Life That You Want. She's also the best-selling co-author of Inspiration to Realization, as well as the author of Turning Midlife into the Right Life, which is available on Kindle. Marcia is also a national speaker, trainer. She's also a transformational strategist, as well as a life transition career coach. I can't wait to have you on the show. So, welcome, Marcia, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely, I'm thrilled to be here.
Perfect. So let's jump right in because we're going to be covering a lot of content, and I want to be able to provide as much valuable information to our guests. So, what would
Sure.
you say to a midlife woman in transition? Because obviously, there's quite a bit of change. What would you be your best advice to that midlife person in transition?
Well, one thing is to normalize it. That even though that you feel like you're the only one in transition, that's just not so. Believe me, I've heard a lot of people that say the same thing. I'm the only one. But really, there's so many different kinds of transitions, and I think normalizing it. Are you empty nester? Are you someone who is changing jobs? Are you starting a business from being in a career? Or are you really just not thrilled with where you are and you want to do something more? So I would identify more about that. And certainly there's a lot of resources out there, myself included, but really it might take some research in that field to start and transitioning into what. Also, this is a great time to start a journal and to realize that it's okay to be scared of all this stuff. That I want to create a smooth transition, and there are lots of ways to do that.
Well, yeah, because transition can be scary. I mean, we've all been through transition. I'm still always continuously in transition, and it can be quite scary. So, first of all, I think realizing that it can be scary can be a good step, but also finding the right resource for you. And I know, Marcia, you're really good at this. So obviously you could be a good resource for anybody who is in transition, because it's not something you should do by yourself.
I'm a transition chick. Well, I mean, certainly it feels like it, but if you have a guide, if someone has been there, that's really helpful. The whole idea is that there's a process. I've created a transition cycle, and I can walk you through that. The first step is that change in itself. It could be emptiness, could be a divorce, could even be a promotion or a marriage. There's a change. It can be positive or negative. It's what the change is doing to you.
And I love how you talked about the positive change and the negative change, because even though you're going through something positive, it can still be scary because you're going into the unknown. It's just, so it's really, I love how you really cover that, because to me that's really important. So Marcia, as somebody who helps people in transition, what was your biggest challenge and how did you learn to overcome it?
Well, I have one challenge is that I went from being a staff analyst, which I hated, to doing something that I love, is helping people with career and transitions and that kind of thing. The other one, I don't know if I've overcome it, but I refuse to let it get me down. I've had some major health issues and walk with a cane and toddle over sometimes, but it's just, you just adapt to the situation. It's not going to hold me back. And I think that oftentimes people can say, well, I have this, but, and some, I guess, things that hold us back, roadblocks, are invisible. Mine happens to be visible, but any kind of thing that holds you back is some kind of thing that you need to overcome. And there are ways to do that.
And I agree, and I like how you mentioned about you having to walk in cane, because I have a very sick dad. So my father's never let his sickness stop him and hold him back. I mean, he was actively involved, but a lot of people in his situation would have been just sitting at home complaining, "Oh, I'm in pain," or "Oh, my life, whatever." But he never really let them hold him back. So I love how you mentioned that, because a lot of people can go through a physical challenge and they'll use that as an example, but really it takes the same amount of energy to sit down and say, "Oh, poor me, I have to walk with a cane," or, "You know what, I'm just going to do whatever it takes, and okay, if I have to walk with a cane, I have to walk with a cane, but I'm going to do whatever it takes." It's going to take the same amount of energy, so you might as well just be, you know what, just accept it, overcome it, and move forward. And that's what I love how you mentioned that, because I see it day in, day in. Like, I'm surrounded with quite a few people who have physical illness, and they don't let them stop them. And that, to me, I find it takes a lot of courage also, because as you probably know, some days you probably wish, like, okay, like, I'm just going to give up, but you don't let that hold you back.
No.
So you keep moving forward. So that, to me, is really courageous, because, like I was saying, I know a lot of people, it holds them back. So when you see somebody who's able, and plus you talk about transition. So for you, that's perfect. You're not letting but you're not letting that hold you back, because, like, we both know, a lot of people, that would hold them back. So what would be a good tip for you to be able to overcome that?
Well, one thing is that where is the evidence that is really stopping you? When I work with a lot of people in the disability community, and when I see people having arms out of their shoulders, I don't think of myself as being disabled. Forget that. I think that people need to say, okay, this part of life, change is the only constant, really. Death and taxes, well, yeah, also change, I think, is one of the 3 hallmarks of life. But it's how you deal with the change. And that's why I recommend getting a journal, being creative about it, speaking into a recorder, but letting the emotions out. That's the first step. And then once the emotions are out, then getting into action and doing something about it. If it means taking a course, if it means doing some research on a new business and what it entails, or a different company for a job change, that's what it takes.
I love how you cover about journaling, because journaling can be quite an experience, and also it's one good way of releasing anything negative that's into your life right now. Because anybody who knows me knows I'm also a master energy healer and a law of attraction expert. But I find you need to find your way of releasing. So sometimes when you start writing, and as writers, we all know that, I mean, I wrote about some of my traumatic stuff, and then I thought that I dealt with it. But then when I actually put it down on paper, I realize I still have some of it holding me back. So I find journaling is a really good resource to be able to just let it go, instead of staying into that victim mentality, because sometimes we're not aware we're in that victim mentality. So I love how you mentioned about journaling, because I know for me it's helped me a lot, especially when I'm transitioning, because then I'm able to focus on what it is where I'm heading. And I'm not letting that fear hold me back, because as we know, fear holds us back a lot.
Absolutely. But if you think of fear as false evidence appearing real, that's all it is. And that's why I say, where's the evidence? That walking with a cane will make me not be an entrepreneur, will make me sit in front of the TV and watch soaps. No, that's just not so. And journaling certainly helps with that. And I talk about people that don't enjoy writing. I'm a writer, and I know you are too, but some people really don't like it. And I say, speak into a tape recorder, make a collage, make a some kind of creative thing, but the creative outlet is really important. And also to focus on the positive. Start with gratitude. What are you grateful for? So that's a good way of good mindset change.
I agree. And the power of gratitude will go such a long way. And also when you're trying to manifest something, or it could be you're in the middle of a transition and you know you're heading something else. When you're able to be grateful for everything, you're vibrating at a higher energy. Therefore, the universe is going to give you a lot more positivity. As if you sit there, oh, poor me, or you don't recognize all your blessings. And it could be, you know what? I woke up breathing this morning, because a lot of people forget. If you wake up breathing in the morning, that's an amazing thing. Do you have a roof in your head? Do you have food on the table? Do you have amazing friends? Do you have an amazing spouse, children, whatever? It doesn't have to be really the big things, but really start focusing on what you're grateful for. And that's also going to help you in the transition. So thank you for bringing up the gratefulness, because I find a lot of people forget that, and doing it on a daily basis will definitely have a huge impact while you're transitioning into your next step.
Yeah, that's one of the first things that I take a person through, is having a journal, and then maybe in the back having a gratitude section to start on that positive mindset that yes, I can make a smooth transition to whatever the next step is.
And I love it, because it's really important. So Marcia, what is your biggest achievement so far, and how did you do it?
Well, I think my biggest achievement was possibly, again, writing my book, Turning Midlife into the Right Life. Also being in, Patricia, your book, because I became an international bestseller.
Yes, you did.
And I only did that, yes, with the help of others. And that's real important, to not isolate, to be involved with others, to have that connection. It's so important. I think it's part of the human experience that you just want to connect. So that's how I did it. I connected, well, I had my editor, as far as helping me with the book. I would write and then she would edit, because editing your own stuff doesn't work. You read what you think is there. But certainly with the international bestseller, everybody around me, we all pulled together, and that was really exciting and very special.
Yes, it is, especially when you're working as a team. And I mean, so far I've been so blessed with the most amazing co-authors in my Manifesting a New Life book series. So it also helps make my job easy as the leader, when my co-authors are so amazing. So thank you for being a part of that, because like I said, to me, it was just gratifying seeing everybody come together on launch date and even before, and just make this a success, because it was really the whole team work together. So I find teamwork is also very important when you're in transition, to make sure you have the right people around you, because that will make a huge difference. If you have only naysayers and you're in transition, your transition is probably not going to go that well, and you probably will transition in the other way. So the team is really important also.
And I think acknowledging a certain level of vulnerability, because it's just areas that you can improve upon, and we all have them. No one's perfect. It'd be boring if you were. But so it's really focusing on, okay, what is the next step? What do I want to do? And envisioning that. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to work in this kind of environment. And so you have a roadmap. You have a GPS now, I guess, not a roadmap anymore, but a GPS of where you're going. So that transition has a destination. It's not just going to stay there.
I love how you talk about the GPS, because it's important to know where you're heading, because if you don't know where you're going, your transition is going to be all over the place, and you're going to struggle. As if you know exactly where it is, where you're going, what's your end goal, and you're aligned with it, you're going to struggle a lot less. Yeah, there's going to be still struggles, because you're in transition and it's normal. but it's going to go so much more smoother. So I love how you mentioned about the GPS, because a lot of people think, okay, I want to go here, but yet they have no idea really where they're going, or they're struggling. Perfect example, they want to get married one day and the next day don't. I mean, when you keep going back and forth, GPS can't be very clear. So the universe can't give you what you want. So I love how you mentioned that, because it is so true. A lot of people don't know where they're heading, and they just kind of fly, but then they wonder why they're not getting results. Well, you don't know where you're going.
Well, sometimes people really don't know, and I can walk them through exercise and that kind of thing. They can use Google and get information. Okay. But I always start with what you don't want, because it kind of it's process elimination in some respects. We all know what we don't want. I don't want to be a nuclear physicist, forget it, or an accountant. It's not me. So they have to start from somewhere, and that might be a place to start, but not to stay there in the don't want, because the universe doesn't get it and won't give you anything.
And I agree, you need to start somewhere, because I mean, I've moved back to Montreal this year, and I've met with a few of my old colleagues, and they're still in the same place 5 years later. They're miserable, but they haven't took any action at all, like not even one. And I'm like, well, you got to take some sort of action. It doesn't have to be huge action, but taking small little baby steps will get you much further than if you take one action a year, or one action every 5 years, or whatever amount it is. So I like taking baby steps, starting somewhere, and then get yourself to the next level, work from there. So it's powerful too.
Absolutely. I tell people, go on the site and just read job descriptions. If they don't know what they want to do, they just know they hate where they are. Well, you got to start somewhere doing research. It is real easy. Google is great. You can find out pretty much anything on Google. So, and I have self-assessments and assessments that can help with that. Some people just really don't. And so my mission is for you to gain clarity, for not you, but the viewers to gain clarity, and to lead a rich and fulfilling life, not stressful, not anxiety producing. So having a clear goal is a big step.
And I so agree with that, Marcia. So Marcia, what makes you really unique in your area of expertise? Because we all have something unique about us. What is your uniqueness?
Well, I think my uniqueness is really my positive frame of mind, the fact that I do have a can-do attitude, and I've overcome obstacles, so I'm willing to be in someone's corner and help them, and I've helped just thousands. So I know what I'm doing. I've been in transition, and I'm called the transition chick. My company is Loving Life, so I'm a very positive, energetic kind of person, and I think that people need that, especially in the time of transition when there maybe not be that many positive influences going on.
And it's so true, because being positive and uplifting will make a huge difference when you have somebody like that in your team. So thank you for sharing that. Unfortunately, Marcia, we're almost out of time. Like, the time goes by so fast when we're having fun. If the viewers would like to learn more about you, where can they find you?
I'm at midlifetransitioncoaching.com. It's my website, and I'm offering a complimentary 45-minute consultation. It's called Live with Passion consultation, by phone or Skype, or, well, sometimes Zoom, and we can talk about that. But there's a form on my website where you can sign up, and that would help. Or you can just give me a call at 410-303-6371. That's 410-303-6371. But if you're in Canada, please, we can Skype, and it's a lot cheaper.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Marcia, for the wonderful gift. It's so awesome. Thank you. So one last tidbit. If you could only say one thing to our listeners that they can take away so that this week they can start moving forward, what would it be?
Doing some research, finding out a little bit more about what you are wanting to do, and setting some goals. Okay, I want this. What do I need to do? Baby steps to get there. And contact me. I would certainly be able to get them going.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Marcia, once again for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, and you've gave so much good advice. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Take care. Thanks a lot, viewers. Bye.
Thank you. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening to another episode of Manifesting a New Life TV show with Patricia. So my name is Patricia from LOALifecoaching.com, and I look forward to talking to you next week where I have another amazing guest. So have a wonderful week. Talk to you later. Bye for now.